Hello everyone. Welcome to my channel, Turkish Spotlight Secrets. Today I'm bringing you a long, cozy deep dive about two names that changed the rhythm of prime time, Barış Arduç and Elçin Sangu. We're going past headline noise to tell a story about craft, loyalty, and a promise quietly kept. All the details are here. If you enjoy this kind of long-form breakdown, please like the video, subscribe, and, if you want to support our team, tap the join button. Thank you, and let's get into it. When Karalık Aşk premiered, the charm was immediate. The pace, the banter, the micro-expressions, everything clicked. Audiences saw a love story, professionals saw something rarer, two performers listening to each other in a way that made every pause feel intentional. That listening continued when the cameras turned off. According to people who watched their early table reads, Barış and Elçin built a habit that outlived the series. After every rehearsal, they would trade notes about beats, subtext, and the moment when a scene should stop acting and start breathing. Time moved on, projects came and went, and the two carved distinct paths. Publicly they kept it simple, occasional congratulations, a respectful distance, no co-branded nostalgia tours. But privately, a different thread held, a conversation about stories they still wanted to tell. For Elçin, that meant more than a new role. It meant stepping behind the camera for the first time. She had a small script tucked away, not a showcase, not a commercial pitch, just a human-scale short about a woman who returns to a neighborhood bookstore to face a decision she postponed for years. Quiet. Intimate. The kind of project that lives or dies on tone. Moving from screen to set chair is always a leap, and she knew it. Financing, schedules, casting, locations, insurance, sound design, the art is one column, the logistics are five. That's where Barış entered, not as a savior, not as a headline, but as a steady pair of hands. He set a boundary from day one, this would be her film. He wouldn't become the story. He would be the friend who answers messages at 2 a.m., shares his contact list, and tells uncomfortable truths gently when the cut runs long. Pre-production began in a rehearsal studio that smelled faintly of coffee and gaffer tape. They pushed tables together, printed scenes in large font, and treated the script like a living thing. Elçin invited actors she trusted for a reading, not stars, not names designed to trend, but performers who could sit in silence without getting scared. Barış came with a yellow legal pad full of questions. Where does the protagonist's apology land? What do we learn from how she purchases a second-hand book? How can a door chime reinforce the idea of time re-entering her life? They argued, laughed, cut, rewrote. He circled 3 lines and said, "These are the spine. Everything else hangs from them." The director in her relaxed. She had a spine. Locations were next. The bookstore was a character, not a backdrop. They visited 3. The first was pretty but sterile. The second authentic but too cramped for camera movement, the third, an old corner shop with uneven floors and a cat that owned the afternoon light, was perfect. The owner, a retired literature teacher, offered tea and a key to the side door. In exchange, he asked for nothing more than a credit, for those who still believe in words. On day 1, things went wrong, as they always do. A lens adapter stuck. A rain cloud ignored the forecast. A neighbor decided to drill into a wall just as the sound mixer called for quiet. The assistant director looked at the schedule, then at the sky, then at the schedule again. This is the moment rookie directors either freeze or lead. Elçin stepped forward and reboarded the day in 10 minutes, move the interior close-ups up front, save the master for later, build a moment near the shop window with the rain as texture, not obstacle. When the drill started again, she pivoted to wild track and foley, capturing room tone, book spines brushing, a pen cap clicking, so no minute was wasted. "We won't outrun chaos," she said, "so we'll choreograph with it." Barış, who had stayed deliberately off camera, pulled 2 crew parkas over C-stands to block a leak and cracked the kind of joke that deflates panic without minimizing it. The set exhaled. The performance work was small and precise. In one scene, the protagonist finds a copy of a book annotated years earlier in her own handwriting. Elçin asked for 7 takes, not to polish to death, but to let impatience drain away. "We're not discovering the book," she told the actor. "We're discovering who you were when you wrote in it." On the 8th take, the actor didn't blink for 3 full seconds. A tiny tremor in her breath did the lifting the dialogue couldn't. Elçin called cut and didn't speak for a moment. Everyone knew they had it. One afternoon, they rehearsed a 2-shot where a friend character holds out a note, then retracts it, then finally opens the palm without words. It's a simple blocking problem until you realize the emotional math. If the hand opens too soon, the scene collapses. Too late, it becomes melodrama. Barış stood behind the monitor, not hovering, just present, and after take 5 he asked a single question: what if the note never moves, only the shoulder moves? The shoulder idea changed everything. Vulnerability entered without pleading. The take that followed anchored the scene in a kind of unshowy honesty. Not his scene. Not his credit. Just a question at the right time. Post-production revealed the film's real heartbeat. The first assembly came in almost 12 minutes too long. A lesser friend says, "It's perfect." Barış said, "I love it, and your best version is shorter." Together with the editor, they removed the clever transitions that drew attention to themselves and kept the glances that did the invisible storytelling. They lifted a music cue to let an air conditioner hum play like summer memory. They cut an entire subplot she loved because it duplicated meaning already present in a look near the register. "We're not throwing it away," he told her. "We're letting the core breathe." When the private screening happened, no red carpet, no press, every chair was filled with people who had given something: a weekend, a location, a light kit, a favor, a prayer. The bookstore owner sat in the back row and cried quietly when his door chime rang in the opening shot. In the Q&A, someone asked the question everyone wanted to ask. What did it mean to direct for the first time? Elçin didn't talk about control. She talked about listening. About how a set, like a good scene partner, tells you what it needs if you stop trying to impress it. She thanked each department, then added a line that landed softly: "I promised myself I'd do this when it felt true. I also promised a friend I would let him help. I kept both promises." Word of the short spread carefully, not virally. A festival programmer requested a screener, a boutique sound designer offered to polish a mix, a cinematographer sent a message saying she wanted to DP the next one. None of it felt like a publicity sprint. It felt like a door opening onto a hallway with more doors. What about the public narrative? Of course, speculation reappeared. When 2 famous names are in the same sentence, the internet writes its own script. But the actual script, this little film, refused to be exploited. Barış declined interview requests and stepped out of photos so the team could stand in front. When a reporter tried to bait a headline, he answered with the only sentence that didn't feed the machine: "This is Elçin's voice. I'm happy to have carried boxes." It wasn't false modesty. It was a choice aligned with the promise he made before day one. And that is the center of this story, a promise. Not about a relationship status, not about a reunion rumor, but about creative integrity. Years ago, in the wake of their first success together, they told each other the thing actors tell in low light: if one of us tries something brave, the other will hold the ladder. The ladder, in this case, looked like location scouts, call sheet spreadsheets, rainy day fixes, and 100 small interventions offered without stealing authorship. What can fans take from this? First, that artistry isn't only what appears on camera. It's also the ethics that shape how projects are made. Second, that friendship between artists can be its own legacy, a series of choices that add up to safety, courage, and good work. And third, that a dream fulfilled doesn't need fireworks to be historic. Sometimes it looks like a bookstore bell, a shoulder shifting half an inch, and a director learning to trust silence. Will they collaborate again on screen? Maybe. The scripts exist, the public appetite is there, and the nostalgia machine is always hungry. But if their next appearance together is another small film that refuses the circus, that wouldn't just be satisfying, it would be consistent. It would honor the same principle that guided this chapter: let the work speak, and let the people who made it breathe. Thank you so much for watching. If this long-form story gave you a new angle on Barış Arduç and Elçin Sangu, please like the video, subscribe, and turn on notifications. Your support lets us spend weeks gathering these quiet details that never make the tabloids. Drop a comment telling us which moment from their careers best represents the word listening to you. We're reading everything and building the next breakdown from your ideas. Take care, and see you in the next video.